What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Wagon Pullers, episode 5. I'm doing something different today. We're transitioning. I'm actually here sitting with my son, Colby, and this is going to be an adjustment because the first 4 episodes I've been talking directly to you all about my journey. But today I want to bring in one of my sons, Colby. He's 23, and he works for me. And he's been working for me right out of high school. And what we want to do today is just go through some questions I have here laid out for him to really go deep into his piece in the journey that I've been on, our family has been on, the business has been on, that he's been on personally. And I really want you all to hear from his perspective. The impact, the empowerment, and, where it's left you at. So, welcome, Colby.
What's going on, guys?
But I want to really transition. I wanted to greet everyone, but I really want to transition, and this is just going to be a conversation that we're going to have, and we're going to forget about who's watching, the cameras, and just tap into your heart and your journey, okay?
Yeah.
So, thank you for coming on. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
We got the tissue box right there.
Hopefully don't have to rip them out.
I know I will. So, well, let's dive into it. Why don't you first introduce yourself?
So I'm Colby. I'm Jeremy's son. I've been working here for going on 6 years. Was always my goal to work for my dad, but I didn't think it would be so soon to work here. I was planning on going to college. I wanted to play football, and I had an injury out of high school, and that kind of pushed me to start working here earlier. So I was 17. I'm 23 now, and I've been working here ever since. And, it's been quite the journey. Working for your dad is not the easiest thing to do, especially going through, what him and my mom went through and trying to balance that with my home life. It was just very tough. So I'm nervous. I've never talked about this with anyone, not even him. So it's going to be difficult, but I know this will have a positive impact, not only on, kids that are working for their dads, but some dads that can kind of get an insight on, how their kid, could be feeling and some of our thinking and stuff like that. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you again for coming on.
You're welcome.
I know you're kind of an introvert, so this is a stretch. All right, let's get into it. These questions are themed behind the idea of staying through the storm. So, first question is, you stayed during some heavy seasons. Why? What kept you committed?
For one, it was mainly just I felt like, for me, it was I committed to this and I'm not going to quit. When I raced dirt bikes with you, I never quit. If I fell and I was in last place, I would never quit. And out of high school, I committed to my job, and as time progressed and I started to get deeper into the company and my investments, the whole company became my whole life. That's all that I really cared about was the company, and just I knew what it meant to you that I was working there, and that kept me committed. And I knew that God instilled in me, this is what I want you to do. Like it's not a coincidence that I got straight A's through high school. Like I wanted to go to college. Like I wanted to have like a normal life. And I scratched that and I started working for you. And I just think God kept me focused on the end goal. Like I remember Tristan would, come and work at the shop, and you'd just be like, dude, I don't know how you do it. Like, I don't know how you do it. Like,
Tristan being your older brother.
Yeah, Tristan, my older brother. Tristan would come and work at the shop every now and then when he, was in between jobs, and he would, it was gnarly. Like it wasn't for, I'd probably say 4 years I did not like my job. I didn't like being here. It was just rough. Like I didn't like being at home. It was just really hard, but he would always, work a day at the shop and be like, I don't know how you do it. And I'm just like, it's gonna be worth it. Like, I don't know when that is, but it's gonna work out. I don't know when, but this is God's plan for my life, and I'm just gonna trust it. Like, and it sucks right now, but I'm gonna continue to just put my head down and work and keep going. But when I would get mistreated here, and you would always come back and make it right, and that's what kept me here. Like you would, do a lot of crazy things, not crazy, but more just just really make me mad.
Define
and
crazy.
And just mistreat me. Like, there's I don't want to get into some of because some of the questions on here, like I'm saving cool. some.
But it's cool if it just flows,
Yeah, I mean, I remember I missed the back window on a car, and you sent me home. You screamed at me and sent me home, screaming and more just yelling at me in front of the other detailers, and you sent me home and stuff like that, where it sucks. I have to go home and I have to just dwell in that. But at the end of the day, like the next day or the 2 days after, you'd always come back and you say sorry to me, and that's what kept me grounded and kept my respect level for you enough to stay there and know that, like, you see that you're doing stuff wrong, but even though you continue to do stuff like that, you coming and apologizing me, I respected that enough, and knowing that you were doing something wrong, that's what kept me committed here.
On that, let's have you unpack that a little more. Like that day I yelled at you for that back window, because I think there's a lot of dads that are gonna watch this that think, just like I thought at the time, like that's the right approach. Like yell at your kids, be extremely hard on them, kind of beat them down a little bit, because that's how you teach them. Like, from your perspective, like, what was that day like? Like, how did that impact you?
Well, there's a lot of situations like that. I mean, the one that I vividly remember was you had a training class in the morning, and when we were doing the towels in Oakview, I didn't pick them up for the training, and it was first thing in the morning, and everyone's walking into the shop. This is when we were in the back 2 units of this building, and then we had the units. Everyone's walking into work, and I forgot the towels, and you blew up on me in front of everyone, like everyone. Like you couldn't do this one thing, and you forgot the towels, and you made me drive back to Oakview and pick them up, and then I just had to sit in the office with Caden at the time and just sit there, and I just got embarrassed in front of the whole staff, and I just felt like it's just so demeaning. Like it felt so like I literally felt like I just couldn't do anything right, because I would try to as a kid, all you want from your dad is to make him proud, so when stuff like that would happen on something that's not like crazy tragic, it sucks. It was really hard, but my thinking was, oh, he's just super stressed because of his training class. Like, I know I should have got the towels, and but you know, after those thoughts go away, it's like, damn, like just got yelled at in front of the whole staff. Makes you feel like not good.
So it's almost like you took responsibility for my stress, like almost trying to find some excuse for why I'm talking to you like that, rather than, you know, me having the tools as a dad to talk to you the right way, because I could have said the same thing and taught you the same lesson without the demeaning, without the embarrassment, without the yelling. But it seems like you always took on that piece of like making an excuse for me.
I think a majority of the stuff on this list is going to be like in my head, like building a case on why that happened, why you did that, rather than like my dad's like such a bad person.
Like understanding what was behind it.
Yeah. I feel like that's something that I've been trying to work on is when people do stuff that I don't like, I'm like trying to make an excuse for it, saying it's okay and it's actually not okay. Something that I would always go home and tell mom, and you know, she sees it because she's home with you all the time, and I'm like, oh, he's stressed out, like we had a lot of orders today, so-and-so did this at the shop, and I get it why he's stressed, and that's why this happened. And she's like, no, this can't happen, you need to tell him. I was scared. I don't want to bring anything up. I would just eat it and just keep working. Make sure to get the towels again.
How would you say things are different now? Because obviously you still work for me, and we have a lot more going on than we had then, and we have issues that have come up, and you've made mistakes since then. I've made mistakes. Like what has changed in our interaction with those same kind of situations?
Well, I think the first phase of rebuilding our relationship came from me moving out. Moving out helped me a lot, just have my own life outside of work, and you know, I work here, you're my boss, and then I go home and then you're still my boss. There was no balance between you being my dad and my boss. Like, you were strictly my boss for like up until I moved out. It's hard. When I moved out last January, I think that was the first process of me just being able to sit with the things that I was irritated about at work and process them and just be by myself and go to work and do my job. And when I would see you on the weekends, it would be someone as my dad at first, but I think the first thing of just rebuilding the relationship and getting to where we are now is you just getting yourself right. Because, you know, for a long time it was like walking on eggshells here for like 4 years. Like, I don't know if you're pissed off, or like, I don't know if I can talk to you about something like that I had going on, because I didn't want you to have more stuff to think about. Like, I just wanted you to know that, like, I'm okay, so I can do my job here. And it was like that for a long time. And I think knowing that you were secure and content with who you are allowed me to feel comfortable to start building a relationship outside of you being my boss.
So it's almost like you, as I did the work on myself and started to heal as a man internally, like, it allowed you to not hold that responsibility, like thinking that you needed to be that for me, or you needed to make sure I was okay, or you needed to just shoulder my overreactions to make sure I was okay. It's like you saw me meeting my needs, and then I could show up for you properly. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. But it definitely, as you got better, but I mean, as I matured too, I was 17 when I started working here, and now I'm 23. You start to like take on life seriously and realizing there's more responsibilities outside of going to work. I mean, for a long time I was going to work, getting off at 5 and then coming home playing video games. So you start to realize, there's more stuff outside of, your work life, and you start to understand why people react the way they do. And that helped me just navigate all the conflicts throughout our relationship to start to rebuild it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's such a good piece in there, because I think, like, my generation looks at the younger generation like you guys in there, and I had this mindset myself, like, I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and I'm going to say it exactly how I feel. And I wasn't thinking about how it's not really what I said, but it's how I said it, right? It was my approach, and it was all coming from a place of brokenness in me. Because I don't feel like the season we're in now, where I've lost any respect from you. Like, I don't even raise my voice anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I can say the same things from a place where I'm healing, so I'm not blowing up, and it's keeping me and you connected. And I'm not losing respect from you. I'm gaining respect, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gaining the connection. And now I'm actually showing up as your father, not just somebody that is, like, correcting every little mistake you're making, because I want to make sure you grow up and you're not entitled, not spoiled,
Yeah, I get that. Another thing is what I would feel like would happen was, since I was your son, I was kind of subjected to any treatment just because, heck, I'm your son. I'm not gonna go anywhere else. So I just feel like, stuff would build up with employees. So-and-so did something wrong. We shipped out a wrong order. All that builds up. I say something wrong in a meeting, just triggered. Just get blasted in front of everyone in the meeting. And I just have to, like, just sit there and eat it. Because anything I would try to say after the fact is just, you're making excuses. You need to own your shit. It's just like, that was my work life. Just getting, I'd work. I wouldn't really get any praise. Like, I was shipping boxes and filling bottles, and I was mobile detailing. Like, I would get praise from the clients, but outside of that, it was just getting bombed on all the time.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It was tough. And going home and not really having anyone to talk to was hard too.
Well, and I think it's important for people to know too that, like, this isn't, I don't look at you as you're talking like a victim standpoint,
Yeah.
This was me in a very broken place, very, like, living out of a lot of my pain and reacting out of a lot of my pain and projecting it on you. And so even though, again, the message was right, like, correct you when you're wrong, make sure, like, you carry the heaviest weight because you are my son. The rest of the staff's going to naturally look at you as maybe entitled. So I was, like, almost overcompensating for that to protect that from happening. But, like, none of this was your problem to own. So I just want to make that clear, like, to you, is that this isn't you being a victim. Like, oh, I had it hard. Like, really what I hear you saying is, like, no one deserves to be treated out of somebody else's pain. I don't care whether you're the dad, the boss, or anything. Like, I was treating you from my broken place. And so my message was always laced with aggression and like almost this high standard that was unattainable.
Yeah. I understood the standard. Like, I didn't... I knew what your goal was. That's what else kept me committed. Like, I knew what you were trying to do. It just wasn't the right way to do it. Like, and I'm sitting here now, and I feel like I could honestly take on anything going through all that for 4 years, But there's a lot of stuff that I'll have to work on down the road just from going through those seasons. Sitting here, I've never talked about this with anyone. There's a lot of things that happened during those years that I just got habits about that are some of my flaws because of those seasons, and being that didn't talk about it. I just worked and worked and made sure that you were happy and made sure that I'm not going home and snitching to mom about all the stuff you did during the day. But yeah, it was hard.
What would you say, like, our interaction now when I have to confront you on something? Like, what's the difference for, like, somebody out there that's like, well, what's wrong with, like, being hard on your kid? Like, what's wrong with all that? Like, maybe a dad's listening and he's like, I don't hear anything wrong with that. Like, yeah, be hard on your kid. Like, look how great you are now. Like, what's that in-between piece? Like, how do I interact with you now that is different? I mean, am I checked out? Am I passive? Have I, like, how do we have that interaction now? Like, what does that look like when we have issues? Like, what's changed?
Mm-hmm. Well, my most important thing with anyone confronting anyone or confronting me is your approach. Like, you have, 5 seconds within your first sentence to grab it's like a hook. If you come at someone hot and out of emotion, they're just going to check out. They're not going to listen to you. So your approach is night and day better. You're very calm, and your wording is always very precision. And something that I always like is you try to relate your situation to the problem, whether it's, I need you to pick your stuff up, I used to have that issue, blah, blah, blah. You help relate to the problem to make the person not feel as bad about the issue. That's something I enjoy. But I would say your approach is just a lot better. You're speaking out of knowledge and wisdom rather than you're pissed off or out of emotion. If you are having emotion, then you wait until you're not emotional and then address the issue rather than, I'm pissed off, oh, another issue happened, I'm going to blow up.
You know what my therapist calls that? Annie. She calls it staying right-sized. Have I shared that with you?
Mm-hmm.
She says you come into situations that trigger you to get upset, and you're either going to get real big and blow up, or you're going to shrink and get passive-aggressive and not say anything. And she said right-sized is sometimes you just wait and hit the pause till you know you can have a right-sized approach with that situation. Just come in and say exactly what you needed to say, but you're saying it right-sized. You're not coming over the top of the person, and you're not shrinking back out of insecurity hey, I don't really want to offend you, but I want to bring this up. You're just confident to come in and go, hey, here's an issue, and we need to talk about it. We need to talk through this because we need to change this.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like our ability to connect on that level now is it just feels like a completely different world. Wouldn't you think? I don't even feel like we have the same relationship.
No, I mean,
and I spent more time with you than any of your brothers because of your racing.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like it was always transactional. I don't feel like it was actually connected because I didn't know how to connect.
Yeah. I remember driving to SEMA last year, and that was like the first conversation I ever had with you. Like, like 22, and you're just having a conversation with your dad about just like stuff outside of work. I think that was like the initial like rebuilding, but no, I didn't really have anyone for a long time. Not even mom. And it was hard, but driving to SEMA and having that conversation with you was really nice. Just talking about life and me as a person rather than me as your employee. But yeah, that was it's nice. I can go to the lake with you by ourselves and just not even talk about work.
Just hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had some good times.
And I've never looked at people. I can't look at people in the eyes. I didn't even start doing that until probably this year, just because I don't trust anyone. You just feel like kind of on your own, so you don't want to look at people. It makes me super uncomfortable, but that's always something you always instilled into me, to look at people when they talk, because it makes you feel like they're actually listening to you. But stuff like that just are some of the flaws that I was talking about that just like happen over time when you go through certain things.
Yeah. Well, and it's crazy too. Some of those patterns continue. Like, I never looked at my mom because she would always demand, like, look at me when I'm talking to you. And it was usually a lecture or something about how I was bad. And I didn't want to look at her because I didn't feel safe.
Yeah.
I always felt beat up. And it's crazy. Like, I would tell you to look at me. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, you didn't want to look at your mom. And you know exactly why he doesn't want to look at you. But it's like you're trying to demand something that you aren't creating a safe place for that child to step into.
Yeah.
So what has helped you trust me now?
Because everything you told me, you've done. Everything you say you're going to do, you've done. You've walked the walk with everything that you've said. You said you're going to build your relationship back with mom. You did that. You said you're going to get better here at work. You did that. You've built the trust back with me. And for that, like, I just respect you so much for that. It's really hard to, it's one thing to say you're going to do something, but to do it, that's a whole different thing. So that's helped me build the relationship back. For sure.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I think it's kind of funny we had the same shirt on. We didn't plan that. Matt over here said we should have the same hat. Oh, that's so good. All right, let's... some of these we're naturally answering, which I love. What do you think other dads need to hear who are scared to own their mistakes with their kids? Like, if you could talk to them right now, like, what would you say?
I would say that the longer they wait, the worse it's going to be. The only reason why I ever forgave you for all your stuff is because you would own it and you would tell me the truth. And there you still you still have respect for someone that owns their stuff and tells the truth. But if you find out your dad's lying and continues to lie about it and is a hypocrite about everything, like, they're not going to, the forgiveness period is going to be a lot more rougher to forgive your dad if he was being dishonest and not owning his stuff. Because then you just have zero respect for him. But that would be my thing. It's just to be straight up with them.
Would you say, like, with me, like, you not that you knew everything before I told you, but, like, you already know there's a problem?
Yeah.
Like, for the dads that think, like, the kids aren't noticing, like, even when they're younger.
There was a problem. Like, I would go home, I would work. You know, I'm not saying every day was terrible here, but I would work, like, get my ass chewed or just either work or get my ass chewed, and then I'd go home and I'd lock myself in my room and I would play video games, or I'd go to my girlfriend's house. Like, you and mom were fighting a lot. You can, like, feel the tension. Like, we didn't eat dinner at the table. We weren't that kind of family until I moved out. And you know something's going on, so the longer you wait, it's just gonna, I think the sooner the better, and just to be straight up with your kids about stuff. Because it's up to them to forgive you for your mistake, but at least that you know you handled it right. And I think the handling it right piece is what the kid can hang on to. And then the forgiveness for the mistake is, like, secondary, but you still have that little piece to hang on to, and then you can build back up to where it was. Be like if you had, like, a cake and you have, like, 10 pieces, and, like, the handling it right is, like, one piece, and then the 9 pieces is the mistake, but you still have the cake still, and you can still build around back those 9 pieces. But if you don't handle it right and you lie and you don't own it, then you don't have anything. And you're starting from, like, ground zero.
Yeah, I remember that night when we went up to and had that counseling session with Tish, remember, with all your brothers and mom.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of to wrap up that season, like, that me and mom had walked through. And we gave each you and your brothers an opportunity to share the impact of that season. Like, we just wanted to give you guys the floor and share your heart. And I remember coming up to you afterwards, and, you know, I had tears running down my face, and I just felt like less than a man. I just felt like such a failure. Because even though I knew I was rebuilding, like, I had failed. And I remember you telling me, you're like, I don't think you're less than a man. And I think that, I mean, it was my fear as a dad, it's you don't want to fail your kids. And if you do in a certain area, like, what do you do with it? You know? So, do you look at me any less, like, from what's happened? Like, how do you look at me now? For, like, a dad that's afraid of this. Like, he's failed. He has areas of his life where he missed the mark. He failed. And he wants to rebuild himself. Like,
I think that I feel like you're more of a man coming back from what you were into who you are now is about as manly as it gets. Like, it takes a way stronger man to build from where you were at to where you are now than someone if they were just the perfect life and just straight line all the time. Like, go to work, pay the bills, go on vacations, don't make mistakes. Like, it takes a way stronger man to rebuild their relationship with their kids and their wife while creating this place than it would for anyone to die now. Like, when I wrote you that Father's Day card, like, I meant all of that. But that's just why I'm so glad that I, stayed committed, because I didn't know it was going to be like this. I thought a lot of the times I was at the shop, it was like, I don't want to freaking be like this when I work here. Like, a lot of the times it's like, oh, I'm just going to prove him wrong. Like, I'm never going to run this place like he runs this place. And I'm just glad that I stayed, because I didn't know that one day it wouldn't be like that. But, yeah, to answer your question, you're the strongest man that I know. No?
Thank you. We gotta feel it today. Been a long road.
Yeah.
What are you the most proud of in your own growth as a man?
I think my biggest one would just be knowing that I never quit. I know a lot of people that would have quit. They would have just gone and worked. I could have worked somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have a lot of skills. Like, I could have worked somewhere else. I could have done something else. But I picked the hard road because I knew I wasn't focused on how hard it would be at first. I was more focused on the end result. But, something that would be outside of work, outside of my work ethic, it probably be the season I'm in right now, just being alone. Sucks. It's hard being, by yourself and being single and not having someone to talk to. I have my family, and I'm thankful that I have that now, but it's tough to go home every day and get off work and go to the gym and go home, eat dinner, and then repeat that. Not having to have anyone to really share life with. I don't have that many friends. I have some really good friends, but I think I'm just proud of being in this season and just being content with being by myself and just being with me and just trusting God that, that person will come around one day. But I want to be the best person that I can be for someone else. And that starts with just being alone.
So that's why you're alone right now?
Yeah. And I'm just, because it's hard. It's like I could go get a...
Because everybody watching knows you're not alone. Because of the way you look.
Yeah.
That handsome face. You know there's options.
Yeah, it's just I'm just proud of the season that I'm in because it's really hard. But I know that when the time comes, I'll be like completely content with myself and who I am, and being mindful of my flaws, and like being open to fixing them.
Yeah. Like you're building yourself up into the person that you know you want to be as a man, so you don't come into a relationship and you need something from a person. You need some kind of validation from a girl. Like you want to feel like you're honoring your values as a man, and then you want to bring that into a relationship.
Yeah. And I just want to be my best self for someone else. Like, I have a lot of stuff that I need to hash out.
Did you ever see my bad habits in the past manifest in a past relationship with girls?
Yeah. I mean, I was angry for 4 years. Just mad. Like, I was just mad at, like, everyone. I'd work and just be mad. I couldn't come home. I couldn't talk to anyone. And I took that out on who I was dating. Like, bad stuff. Name calling and just making them feel like you don't need them. Because I was just so insecure about not being wanted at the shop, because you just get blasted all the time and you just feel like you're so insecure about not being wanted that anything that makes you feel like you need them, you just freaking bash them for it. Like, oh, I don't need to hang out with you, or I don't need to text you, or anything along the lines of that. I would just mistreat the relationship. So it definitely took a toll on all my relationships during that season and a relationship. But
so it's like how I was treating you, you had to take that somewhere. Like,
yeah,
we have to project our pain somewhere.
And I couldn't talk to Mom about it. I couldn't talk to you about it. So I would just keep it in and take it out on someone else.
So it's like you had your responsibility in that, because that's your character and that's your life. But as your dad, I've taken responsibility that I was the source of, like, I was basically teaching you how to act like that unintentionally through my dysfunction. And you were just changing the flavor and continuing the same pattern. And I think it's important to understand that piece of, like, as the dad, like, I went first. And I knew it was my responsibility because I didn't get that from my dad, and I could not make excuses. And you know the dynamic of the relationship with my dad. Like, I didn't have that piece. But I couldn't sit back any longer and justify my behavior just because I didn't have that and I wasn't taught it. So I'm just going to continue the pattern. Like I broke the cycle.
Yeah.
Like, so me stepping in and breaking that cycle without us really even having a conversation about it. Like, it sounds like what you're explaining is you're starting to see this pivot and shift in you where that pain's healing in you. Yeah. And how are you with that anger piece at this time in life?
I think I've got past the anger part. I'm not angry. It's just more of being okay with, like, needing someone, just because I felt like my whole life I've just been by myself. Like, I didn't really have a dad to go to for out of high school. I mean, even in high school, Like, you're building this business and you're trying to keep the marriage afloat. I didn't really have a dad, so, and mom, I talked to mom about it, but most of the time I just felt alone. So then to try to break the habit of thinking that you don't need anyone, it's been hard for me. But I'm getting to a point where I'm okay. I'm being okay with, like, needing someone and being okay with letting someone else know that I'm not okay. I think that's just really hard for me.
Like having healthy needs.
Yeah, with social media and stuff, it's makes you think that, like, everyone has everything figured out, and that's something that I've always tried to do. Like, look at me, I'm working, I have a house, I have a cool truck, and most of the time I was just hiding behind all of that, but I was not okay. It's like just mad and insecure and just basically just acted like I didn't need anyone. I could do it all myself, and that just would drive me and my relationships into the ground. Just mistreat people.
So what do you say to somebody else out there your age that's stuck in that? What do you say to them? Like, what strategy have you put in place to start to come out of that mindset and, like, live your life differently?
I would say people are going to respect you more. They respect the fact that you're being vulnerable more than just putting on a front that you're good. Now you have everything figured out. And if you don't handle it now, you're going to be handling it down the road regardless. I'd rather dig all this out now than 5 years from now be dealing with, thinking you don't need anyone. And still taking it out on people that love you and want to do life with you. Those are the people you should be holding on to most, not pushing them away, because you don't want them to think that you need them. So my advice to them would just to be vulnerable about it and to deal with it now, because they don't just go away. Like, I thought they would go away. They're not going away. You're going to have to deal with it.
What's some practical things you do to help deal with it, to work on that?
Well, for one, like, investing in my little brothers and, like,
how old are they?
Talking to them. They're 22 and
obviously I know,
20,
but
22 and 20.
Listen. Yeah.
Because a lot of the times that all through my childhood, I didn't talk to them. I didn't have any relationships with them. I thought they were idiots most of the time, just because I'm I had everything figured out hypothetically, and they're just running amok. Jeremy's just running around, doesn't really have a job. Corey's running around, just not on the same track as I am, and I just kind of abandoned them. So
I do remember you coming up from school one day and you're like, I don't know why kids make bad choices. Like, you're in, like, junior high or something. You're like, all they do is get in trouble. Like, why would anybody want to get in trouble? As your dad, I was like, right? Like, but just know, like, that's not normal thinking.
Yeah.
Like, most people don't think like that, okay?
Well, a lot of the times I was just
like, you just didn't want to ever get in trouble.
Yeah.
I was like, where did this kid come from? He must be like his mom. I was the opposite.
I've just been practicing with them, just asking them for stuff. I live with Corey, so be like, hey, can you help me with this, or can you grab this? Before this podcast, I was nervous, so I don't know what's going to come with this. I've never talked about it. Like, I called Jordan, prayed with him about it. It's stuff like little things like that. They just they start to add up in terms of being okay with needing things. And just with mom too, I don't have any relationship with mom. And
how are you guys now?
good. I had like a love-hate relationship with mom because we're so similar.
Because you're the same person?
Yeah, we just butt heads all the time. But I text her a lot, just needing emotional stuff. And she's helped me a lot with like girl problems and relationship advice and just feeling safe enough to ask for stuff. I feel like I'm in a very safe place, so I feel content with asking stuff like that. Rather, before I didn't feel safe ever. So who am I to trust someone else if I don't even feel safe?
What do you tell somebody out there, a young adult right now, that doesn't have that with their parents? Maybe their parents are still completely stuck and in a very broken place, and they feel like they got nowhere to turn or be vulnerable to anybody. Like, what would you say to them?
Go to church. Invest in your faith. I mean, that's what I've been doing. Because I go home and I'm just alone. And I just ask him to keep me focused and to keep me driven. And I mean, I'm like outside of my family, I'm really in like this, I have some friends, but most of the time I'm just talking to God, asking him to keep me focused and keep me driven and know that this is just a season of my life. And if you don't have friends or you don't have a good family, then ask him for a friend group.
Like, ask God.
Yeah.
Like, he's become real to you, not because you grew up hearing about it or from a religious standpoint or...
Yeah, he's starting to become real because I'm starting to... a lot of the times when I was first working here, I was just like this isn't how it's supposed to be. Like, I'm not happy here. Like, this is miserable. I go home, I don't even have a safe place to sleep. And seeing, it's not like I didn't think he was real. I always know he was real just from racing, and I never got hurt. Like, I know he always protected me. But as things got better and seeing you and Mom get better and me moving out and seeing, like, his vision for me start to pan out, he's revealed himself to me for sure, just through that. Just taking what it was, just working here in my relationship with you and Mom, to now it's like that was him working in me, just revealing himself.
Would almost be like, I mean, I'll speak for myself, like hearing my talk about God and me talk about how I love God, like actually seeing it look like something in my life. Would that be what really got your attention?
Yeah.
Like, almost like shutting my mouth and like walking the walk, like getting to a place where it looks like something.
Yeah. Definitely.
What do you tell somebody? I'm curious to hear this, and we're like way off the questions, which is rad. You just said something really interesting, and I remember that during your racing. We would always put on the armor of God, which is in the Bible. It's Ephesians 6, right? And we were always real intentional about that. Like, we would pray that over you. But you said something really interesting right now. You said, I knew he was real because I never got hurt, and he protected me. Like, what's your thoughts on, I mean, you got friends in motocross that have died, Like, you got friends that probably follow God, and they've gotten hurt in motocross. Like, what's your take on that? Like, where's God in those moments?
It's a good question. I haven't really ever thought about that, but
I think it'd be cool to hear, like, from your perspective, like being a 23-year-old and kind of tapping into your faith, because I think that jams a lot of people up. Like, when bad things happen, like, where's God then?
I don't think it's I don't think it's God being that, some people that I've known have died in moto, but I think you see God after the fact and see how he can use something so tragic into a positive and have it impact people. I don't know a situation where that's happened, just because thankfully I haven't had a lot of people die that I know, but I think you see God's touch on it after the fact, rather than keying in on God killed this person.
Yeah.
I think that's a bad way to look at it.
Yeah, it separates you from him.
Mm-hmm.
I've always looked at that as, I look at God as our Father, our Heavenly Father. I mean, when Jesus in the Bible said to pray, he said to pray like this, and he said, Our Father. He didn't say Lord. He didn't address him any other way. He addressed him as Father. So I've just always had this picture of, and real quick, this is like what has carried me, being that I didn't have that Father piece, and I had no idea what I was doing when I had you and your brothers.
Yeah.
But I look at it as like me being an earthly father to 4 boys. I would never cause anything intentionally bad to happen to you guys to try to teach you a lesson. I would never tell you, like, you're playing in the street when you're little, like, hey, you know what, go run around the freeway. You're going to get your leg broke. You're going to learn today. I'd never do that.
Yeah.
But as a father, I have to allow you to live and experience life and go through things. And that's part of the relationship, and that's part of your growth. And so I've always looked at God like that. Like, we do go through hard things, and some things we don't have an answer for. But him, for the people that allow him to be their Heavenly Father, like, he will come in and take the most tragic, awful situation and work it for good. We've seen that happen in our family.
Yeah.
So I just try to protect that perspective on him of, like, this is my Father. This is my Heavenly Father. And I know that he'll turn everything around if I stay locked in and keep my faith in him.
Mm-hmm.
Which other of these stand out to you, Colby? Because a lot of them have just kind of flowed. What about this one? If you have a son someday, like, what do you want to pass down from our story to him?
I would just say, from a son aspect of it, just always, I know it's a tough question, because not all dads are willing. Some guys are just so set on their principles in life, and they're just going to treat their kids like that. But I mean, if I can pass something down from our story, it would just have hope, honestly. Like, it went from me just going through the motions every day and working here to loving what I do now. And having an actual dad and a boss at the same time. Like, it's actually possible to do that. It's possible to balance the two. And just to look for things look for some good in the bad. Like, no, it wasn't okay to do some of the things you did in terms of just mistreating me as an employee here, but, like, look for the good in that. Like, look, okay, I can take this and so this won't happen again, or, like, this is going to make me stronger for the next time this happens, or, like, I'm taking all this beating so the staff doesn't have to. So when they mess up, they don't blow up on him. Like, just look for little things that keep you driven to not give up. That's something that helped me a lot when I was working here.
like keep a strong why.
Yeah.
Why you're doing what you're
No,
doing.
I just knew I wanted to be here. Like I knew this was what I was supposed to do.
Like you knew your purpose.
Yeah, I knew I was supposed to be here. And obviously I love the company. Like this is my whole life. Like I've committed my life to this brand, and I wasn't going to give up because I'm being mistreated. Like it wasn't worth it to me.
I appreciate your honesty. Let's dive in real quick as we get kind of close to the end. I want to ask you a hard question. This is the toughest thing that, I walked through as a father, as a man, was, the moral failure that I had with Mom. And I want to ask you, what was it like for you when I shared that truth with you and your brothers?
Mm-hmm. It was hard. It was hard to see how bad it hit all my younger brothers. And just, there was a long time where I thought Mom was just crazy. Like the way she would react and like what she would do sometimes, it just felt like she was mad all the time. And when you shared all that, because when you shared it, it was like, she was like, this is why I've been so mad. Because this happened. And I just remember sitting there and I just didn't even say anything. There was just tears running down my face, but I didn't know how to feel. I was just numb.
How did we rebuild from there? What happened? Like, what have you seen?
With you and Mom?
Yeah, being that that's the primary priority relationship is me and her, If me and her aren't good, like, there's no way you and your brothers are ever going to be good. So I couldn't just rebuild with you and your brothers. I had to rebuild with myself, and I had to rebuild with her as the priority, right? So, how are we sitting here today? How are we able to get on a mic and talk about, me and you know that we've worked through this. We know where we're at as a family, but how are we here? Like, how did we get here? How did we make it through that?
I'll just start with why I've made it is because that was just a hard season for me because I worked here. And you went to Mom and told her what happened. Like, you confessed to it. She didn't find out. And that's what kept me. That's the piece that I held on to. If that didn't happen, I don't know. I wouldn't be working here. There's no way. But seeing what you had to walk through, seeing the things Mom had you do, and the workshop you guys did, you did a lot of stuff. And seeing that as your dad walking through that and just it wasn't like okay that happened, but seeing you walk through all of that, it helped you stay like grounded and allowed the forgiveness to start to settle in for that. But I just remember that night, and we had SEMA like literally the next day. And that was just hard because you're having to like, you're like so sad. And you're having to just block it all off. Because like you work there, so you can't like be mad. Even though you said it's okay to be mad, but you can't be mad. And you're having to go to work every day, and I had to go to SEMA, and I wasn't going to not go, and it's hard. But I think the hardest thing for me was probably just watching you, like I knew how hard that was to tell us. Like I knew how much, like how that, like basically took, like I knew what that did to you. And it made me even more sad because you're watching, you know, your dad and the person that you look up to, and you're like working through hell for. Because at the end of the day, I'm working here because this is, you built this, and you're my dad, and I want you to be proud of me. And you're just like watching him broken. But then the other side of that is you're just so sad because like I didn't know if like my parents are probably gonna get split up. So seeing everything come full circle, it's like it's crazy. But there's a lot of stuff that happened during that season that I'll have to work on. But yeah.
How do you think things would have looked if I would have just tried to work on it with Mom behind the scenes and not tell you and your brothers? How would it have been different?
I feel like it would just cause resentment in all of us towards you. Like, we deserve to know for Mom's sake. Mm. I remember she was just sitting there, and she's just like saying, like, I'm not crazy. Like, I'm not. Like, this happened, and none of you guys have known about it. And it hurt me because me and Mom just don't get along. And a lot of the time during my childhood, we would just butt heads, and I would think she's freaking psycho. And she's like hiding this piece the whole time. And if you did it behind the scenes, it would, I don't think I could ever forgive you. So I'm glad that you guys did do that.
So I knew it was important to like ask you this question. You know, it's no secret to sitting in this kind of environment on a public podcast to talk about something that was like the gnarliest thing we've ever walked through, but knowing where me and you are at today and where the family's at today and stuff I've talked about in the other episodes, this is really for like any guy out there that has failed, to give them hope, because I know where me and you are at today. And there's power in ownership, huh? There's power in owning your mistakes. And not only owning your mistakes, but doing the work to rebuild yourself and heal the pain that caused me to make a mistake like that. What do you say to like a dad out there listening that has had a moral failure, and it might not be like an actual affair with another woman, which mine wasn't, you know what it was, but it still was defined as cheating, and it was a betrayal. Like, what do you say to a man out there that's trying to justify like his secret? Like, what if you could say anything to any dad listening that wants a way out? Because I don't know if I've ever vocalized this to you, but like, I wanted to be free from living a lie so bad I was willing to face any consequence, because the true consequence for me as a man was living a lie. And sitting here today knowing that I'm free from living a lie and I'm rebuilding and I'm recovering and knowing where our family's at, like I wouldn't trade it for anything. And somebody right now is caught in that tension of they're living a lie and they're suffering. Like, what would you say to them? Like, what would you say to a dad
that hasn't told anyone?
Mm-hmm. And they're justifying what it is as they're just getting a need met.
Well, first say that if whatever you're justifying gets found out, like your kids find out or your wife finds out, and then your kids find out that you didn't come out and take ownership over it, that's the only reason why I'm even sitting here. I told you this on the way to SEMA that day, like the 2 days after you told us. I was like, I wouldn't. The only reason I'm sitting here is because you came and told Mom. She didn't find out. Because you could have just, no one would have found out. You didn't have to tell anyone. And that's what I focused on during that season, was just you taking ownership of it and telling Mom. Because the mistake sucked. It sucks to see my mom like that, but I still had a job. I still had my job to do. So I focused on the fact that you didn't have to tell anyone and you came and told Mom. That's one piece of it. And then second piece would just, your kids are going to know there's something wrong. There's no way you can be okay and with doing something like that and it doesn't display in your actions towards your wife or your kids. Like, I'm sure a lot of some of the flaws I was seeing or Mom was seeing in you during that time was rooted from whatever you were justifying or...
Yeah.
So that would be the second piece of it. Like, they're going to see it, and you're going to start affecting your kids and your wife if you just keep holding on to it. And you're going to affect them even worse if they find out.
Yeah, like secrets make you sick, and they make the people around you sick.
Yeah.
Like whether we realize it or not, you know. And I think one of the best ways that I've loved you, which it sounds kind of crazy, is walking in the truth. It's not what I've done for you. I feel like the best way I've loved you is who I'm becoming for you, for your brothers, for myself, for Mom. You know, it's like the best piece I can give you guys is like actually what I'm giving myself. Not what I've built or the legacy that you guys have with monetary stuff, but like who I'm becoming for you guys. Which is the hardest battle of a man's life, but
yeah,
we're doing it. Huh?
Yeah. No, I think you've proved to all of us like what a man's supposed to be, especially one that messes up. Like in all aspects. As a boss, as a husband, as a dad, as a friend, as a mentor to all your men's group people, like you've built back up and then you're building more.
Thank you. Well, as we wrap up, you know, we could have got on here and talked about Shine Supply and all the cool things we're doing, and but we're leaving people with a power piece, which is walking the truth.
Yeah.
No matter what it takes, right? And you can rebuild, and it's possible, right? And there's nothing different about us than anybody else, except I've chosen to be honest, and I've chosen to do the work, and I'm doing the work. And we're breaking the cycle.
Yeah.
And we're changing the legacy of the family. Not by what we have or what we've built, but by who we're becoming. Right?
Yeah.
We're being something more than doing something. Right?
Yeah.
Anything you want to say before we wrap up? I really appreciate you sitting with me. This was gnarly.
I was like,
I know we hang out a lot, so to sit down at a table, you know, with like 27 lights on us and cameras and, you know.
I shouldn't know.
People don't know like how tight. Well, they might know how tight we are, but we hang out a lot, you know, along with the rest of the family.
Yeah.
So this is definitely a different setting.
Yeah. Just glad I got. I was just so nervous. I didn't know how talking about this would make me feel. I didn't want to just start losing it on camera.
Yeah.
But
same. But
I talked to Mom yesterday, and she's texted me a prayer, and she prayed over me, and prayed last night just asking for strength and wisdom, because I've like shoved this stuff so down. It's hard to like go back and like try to talk about it, because it's like so far down. It's like it's almost like it never happened, because I just blurred it out for so long. But I think it's a lot easier talking about it now because it's so good now. But if it's like still bad and then you're having to talk about it,
yeah,
hard, but
we wouldn't be doing this.
No.
That's why it took 4 years to get the mics going.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I believe that our story can become our testimony if we allow it to be. Like no matter what we've walked through, because I think one of the greatest things we can do in life is use what we've gone through to help somebody else. I think life isn't just about us and us being okay and setting ourselves up for success, but I want to be successful so I can help other people be successful. Not just business-wise, but emotionally, mentally. Like redefine like what's a man supposed to look like? Because we did it on this end, right? Like we built it, and I could have hid behind that. right?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody outside the four walls of our home was constantly like, Jeremy, look at what you built. And I knew I couldn't even build anything significant inside those walls.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how. So it was okay to admit that and enter into the process for me as a man to learn. And I'm learning, you know, and you've watched me surround myself now by some incredible guys in my life that can actually model that to me, you know? So I'm so grateful for where we're at, and I love seeing you every day. I'm so blessed that you work here with me. I'm so grateful that you didn't quit.
Me too.
I have a tremendous amount of respect for you. You know, I feel like you live your life in a far better way than I did for a long time. So it's cool as a dad to be able to respect your kid. You know, I respect you. I learn from you. I listen to you. I really appreciate you getting on and doing this. I know this was hard.
Yeah.
Okay?
You deserved it. You earned this. That's something that Mom told me yesterday. And to hear that from Mom, it's nice.
What did she say?
She's just praying over me and telling me that she texted me about just because Mom knows me better than a lot of people. Like, I just don't talk about a lot of stuff, and she knew that this would bring up a lot of emotions, and she just said that Dad, like, we're following Dad now. And this is going to impact, like, so many people. And, it's just, I'm so thankful that our family didn't fall apart and I'm still here, you know? And that, like, everything that people say, that external people that see you and say, like, your dad's such a good dude, and, like, it must be so, like, cool to have him as a dad. And for a long time I was like, oh yeah, but no, it's not. Freaking sucks, actually, like, working here. But now, like, a ton of people are always saying this, and I'm like, yeah, he is. And there's not one bit of me that's, like, inside that's like, no, he's not. Like, he is. He's everything that you say you are, and he's everything that you see on camera. That's exactly how he is. With me and my brothers and my mom. So it's nice to not have to hide behind that.
Yeah. I'm glad you can feel that when you hear that.
I don't take it for granted. I know there's a lot of people that need a dad like that, and I don't have it. And a lot of people are always like, I don't know how you're, like, this determined and driven and like, successful at a young age. And I'm just like, well, I don't expect them to, because they don't have the dad that I have. That's, like, instilled that into me. Like, that's why it's never like, oh yeah, like, they just need to work hard. It's just like, no, I have a dad that's come from nothing and built something incredible, and has built something incredible, and then, like, gone to the gates of hell, and then come back from the gates of hell, and you watch all of that. And that's a lot of the reason why I am who I am, is because I watch. Even though I don't talk a lot, I watch. And I learn.
Well, I love you.
Love you too.
Let's keep pulling that wagon.
Yeah. Keep pulling it.
Let's go get some lunch. We're out.
I'm starting.
Woo!